What up, what up, what up? It's your favorite shit-talking squirrel, back for another Darrell Brooks video. So before we start today, I just want to address a quick change in the Case Watch format. If you didn't see it, I put up a poll because I spend a lot of time putting these little icons into the videos after the fact, like after we recorded, and it's gotten to the point where it's just silly. Like I'm spending so much time editing, putting in these stupid effing icons that like it's really limited my ability to make content because I'm editing so much of it. So, due to the overwhelming majority pointing you guys being more or less indifferent to the presence of these icons, I'm just gonna get rid of them, guys. I'm sorry. There was like 20% of almost 400 of you that wanted them. For those people, I hope you understand. It's just I'm gonna be able to make more content. So if you can bear with this small change and put up with it, it's going to make my life a lot easier and make everybody else a lot happier with the content that I'm making. So I hope it doesn't affect things too much for you guys. If it does, leave me some comments. We'll try to figure out a better solution. But for the time being, this is just how I'm gonna address it. It's gonna save me so much time in the editing room, which will, like I said, open me up for other things. I do want to talk about one thing. I guess somehow when the conversation started about whether or not I should keep these icons, it somehow shifted into a conversation about whether or not we need the guests on Case Watch and whether or not it should just stay me and Nawson. And, I get some people's positions on the whole thing. I like the format, and a lot of other people seem to like the format of having viewers on and other people in the format of like a table talk kind of setting where a lot of us can chime in. I know it gets confusing sometimes where we're talking over each other, but I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you guys. This Darrell Brooks thing, it has an expiration date, and what keeps it fresh for me and to a point where I feel like I do want to make this continuing forward, this is a format that supports that. So this is kind of what I'm going to go with. If it's something you guys feel like you're really adamant about, we could talk about it further, but I feel like everybody's getting best of both worlds. If you like the solo commentary videos that are very heavy editing, you're going to be getting more of that because I don't need to spend as much time editing the Case Watch series. And if you like the Case Watch series, you're going to be getting more of that because without the need to edit so much of it, I can upload the more quote-unquote raw format, so you'll be getting more of those versions of the videos too. So everybody wins, in my opinion. This is kind of best of both worlds, but, if you guys have, a really stern opinion about the matter one way or the other, let's talk about it in the comments. We'll figure out what works for everyone. But beyond that, I try to keep these intros as short as possible, so let's just jump into the content, shall we? Let's get this.
To your knowledge, would you be basing that answer, the last answer, on hearsay?
No.
So you would be basing your answer on...
You see how happy he was in the interrogation room when they say that he didn't have the disorderly conduct charge?
Do they say that to him? They tell him that he's not getting it disorderly?
Yeah, they told him the disorderly conduct charge was dismissed in the interrogation room, and he was like, "Oh yeah," which is nothing. Which is nothing.
Facing murder charges.
Yeah. Oh, at least I don't look like a creep.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
When he's sitting in a room being accused of beating on his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So
you heard about disorderly.
And even more so, after he ran down, it's so insane to me that he sits up there and fights the domestic so much, like in the wake of running 70 people over. It's so egregiously ignorant.
And the other bail jumping charge.
While eating a fish sandwich from McDonald's, which like no one buys.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He's like, what do you want? Big fish, obviously. It's like, what?
I didn't think they made those anymore.
You guys don't like getting an FOF?
Thought that was gonna make
fish.
Like fish.
Love the FOF. You ever make an
Really?
airland and sea burger? That's where you take an FOF, a chicken sandwich, and a McDouble, and you combine them into one sandwich.
Dude, so a little off topic, Nawson. So I had a show last night. I was so excited to get my cheat meal, McDonald's, get home my McChicken. There's no chicken in it, just lettuce and sauce only. I was so pissed.
Wait, what?
I was so pissed. There's no
What
chicken.
do you mean a show? Like
They
a
gave-
bodybuilding show?
Oh, he's a wrestler.
Oh,
Yeah, pro wrestling.
How'd that go, by the way, Richie?
It was fantastic. I'll probably go into it later, but it was a very emotional night. Gave a good speech. Match was great. No glitches whatsoever. It was a very, very fantastic evening.
It's like your retirement match, but not like taking some time off.
Yeah, not retired. Just gonna, step away for a bit.
Hiatus.
Nice. Did they give you the whole "you deserve it"?
Well, no, because they wouldn't say you deserve leaving, but they did give me the thank you, Richie chance.
Oh man, that's adorable.
So the story was my best friend I was fighting, and so we had a nice hug and speech. And my daughter and wife surprised me by going, and so that was like emotional in itself.
My cousin does the wrestling.
That's
Really?
such a wrestling
In
statement.
Jersey,
I was fighting my best friend, like only in wrestling. We had a big hug after.
I mean, what? They did a video package for us, like a hype video, and I added in like a Game of Thrones clip where Littlefinger was talking about the climb, like how a chaos ladder thing.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good night.
Good for you, man. Mania weekend too. Perfect.
Yeah, dude, I didn't expect that 4-4 to be as good as it was on night one. But sorry to get off topic, guys.
yeah. That's cool though.
On this one, he is discussing a very minor charge compared to everything else he's charged with. It doesn't make any form of sense.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. It's like in the wake of trying to defend yourself against 6 homicides and however many reckless, to pay the amount of attention he does to a charge they already dismissed is so ludicrous to me.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Well, because in his mind, although it was just dismissed because they didn't want to confuse the jury because she had no marks on her that day, he, for whatever reason, latched onto, though that means it never happened and everybody knows it. No, that's not what they're saying. That does not prove that nothing happened. They just chose not to charge you with it. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. But that's what he latched onto. Because he kept saying it was proven that it never happened and he says it to Doro, and you know it. And she was like, I absolutely do not.
Yeah, we actually know otherwise, but whatever, we don't care anymore.
Yeah, the impression I have is that he's just trying to make it look like they're lying in general. If one thing is a lie, then the whole story is just fabricated. I think is really what he's going for.
What do they call it from? Fruit from the poisonous tree?
I'm going to sustain the objection. Next question, or you can rephrase it.
Would it be fair?
Jesus.
I don't know how I can rephrase that without asking it the same way, Your Honor.
Because you're not a
I'm glad I had a mask on for that. Jeez.
I hate when he does that little fucking smirk laugh. It makes me want to scratch his out.
Yeah, I hate that too.
It's very much a window into his soul. You know what I mean? It's like he's such a horrible monster. Him smiling is almost like more awful than when he's like staring and doing the grunting.
It's like drawing like a smiley face on like a fish fillet sandwich from McDonald's. Like, yeah.
Sorry.
It's like the Joker, right? Like all of Batman's bad guys are pretty intimidating, but like the image of like, imagine you're standing at an ATM and all of a sudden you turn around and there's just this psycho clown staring at you smiling. It's like it's much more menacing than just the thug with like a mask on. It's like you know what his intentions are, but you turn around and see the psycho staring at you, smiling. It's like, God, what do you want? What's going on here?
Fine, take it. Man.
He's been doing that for so many years, just horning in on people's insecurities and their traumas and shit like that and exploiting it. Man, this was such a comeuppance for him, man, in this courtroom. And I enjoy every minute. Whenever I get so mad at him or I watch a clip where he's just totally out of control and nasty, I go right to that verdict video where he announced the verdict, and I feel instantly better. Like,
Yeah.
this shit really fucking up my head because I'm like, I should not feel this happy to see somebody get life sentences. Like, wow, this is crazy. Like, this dude invokes this kind of anger and hatred.
Yeah.
Like, it is very tough to see because later on you see even police officers or people in law enforcement that are kind of timid. And it's like he'll be doing his questioning and he'll notice, you know, their timidness. And he's like, oh, like you can almost see him be like, oh, here we go. Like the one where they told him to stop for badgering the witness. Like,
yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how he's
okay.
nuanced his ability to pick up on people's weaknesses to such an extent that even just the smallest amount of weakness he's able to pick up and pounce on. It's really gross.
I'm convinced that Waukesha is like Mayberry because these cops and detectives are so sweet-natured and so nice that
so
it's
true.
like I was screaming at my television set like, fucking bark back at him, push back. Like they just was like sitting there like that guy, bless his heart, Hallmark, I think his name was, with the kids who he hit. He's like calling him sir and yes sir, and I didn't understand. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking detective. Like, you deal with asshole criminals, I'm sure, every day.
The one detective that they brought back for him, can't remember his name. He also worked the Slender Man case. That was Waukesha as well.
Casey, Detective Casey.
That's
really?
him.
Yeah, he's great.
He just retired, actually. And they were talking about the two big cases he went with was Darrell Brooks and the Slender Man case.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Slender Man, the cryptid?
Yeah, there were two little girls that murdered their friend in the name of Slender Man.
Tried to.
Because a creepypasta they were reading. They thought that he was real and they needed to sacrifice.
I thought he was legitimately trying to investigate like the existence of Slender Man.
He caught him finally, the Slender Man, put him in the cuffs. They had to get a massive size set of fucking handcuffs for Slender Man's creepy fucking fingers. Oh God, can you imagine? Horrifying.
I thought you were suggesting that there was like so little going on in that county that they're like, well, people have been reporting Slender Man sightings, so I guess you can work on that.
The case was horrifying.
Fucking killing me today.
That case was really bad, though. The girl lived, but
yeah, she survived.
Yeah, they left her out in the woods or something, right?
Yeah.
So horrible. I saw that interrogation too. It was the one little girl who orchestrated it all. Jesus, so much evil in such a young. Oh, it's sad. There's such sick wickedness in the world.
Well, Waukesha needs more people like Detective Casey. Like they need more of his, like, way he handles outrageous criminals because all the rest of those detectives from that township, I don't know who the fuck they detected on, but they treated him like a Girl Scout most of the time on that stand.
It almost kind of makes sense that it's like Beaver Clevelandville because they've had so much horror. It's like they're banding together as a community in respite of it.
And I get being forgiving and God fearing, and I get all of that. But this man ran through your township or your town and killed grandmothers and children. Like that Detective Hallmark, like your children were hit by him. And like for you to get up on that stand and and refer to him as sir, I don't think I got that much professionalism in me. I'm sorry.
Not in the
I don't either.
slightest.
I don't either.
I couldn't do it.
No.
Imagine if
I
you
couldn't.
tried this in like New York or New England somewhere.
Or somebody would have punched the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, I can honestly say I've lived in the town that I lived in my entire life. My whole family's from here. We never moved. Okay? If that happened in my little 3 square mile town, forget it. Forget it. He wouldn't have even made it to trial.
No.
Imagine him trying to pull the whole fucking like, I don't consent to that name. It's your fucking name, guys. Shut the fuck up about it. Forget about
The
it.
birth certificate is in all caps. I checked.
It's
Well, at
written
least
Brooks.
Jersey's is.
It's written Brooks on the boxes. On some videos, it's written Brooks.
Yeah, you can see it
on the boxes.
Yeah.
So where does that come from?
If you're not Brooks, then why the hell do you got that
Brooks.
box that says Brooks?
Yeah.
In all
It
caps
comes
too.
from the sovereign citizen movement. They all do that one. The same with the understand bit and all kinds of other stuff. It's insane.
I'm sorry.
He thought that he was capitalized off of like all the shit that was happening in the country with like police and black folks. He thought that it was gonna like he was gonna capitalize off of that whole thing that was going on. But as a black man sitting here on this talk with you guys,
nobody likes him.
We reject his ass. So it don't matter if he's black or not. We can't stand him. I speak for all black people all around this fucking world. We all hate his ass. I saw that video when he ran over Bill Hoskell, like when he's speeding through. I can only imagine. They don't show the impact of when he hit him, but you could just see him barreling down and like that guy Bill's in the frame. Oh my God, you could just tell.
You don't want to see it.
He tore that old man probably to pieces. How fast that car was going. Like, oh my God, it's giving me chills to think about it just now. Like, can you imagine getting hit from that speed without even knowing it's coming? Like that shit. Oh my God.
From
man.
behind.
From behind. He didn't even see it coming. The way he barreled through that crowd like that. Wow.
They said he was swerving into people. Nawson, what were you trying to say?
When this first happened, it was right after Kyle Rittenhouse was not guilty. And so the first rumors that were going around was that it was in response to that it was like a BLM protester.
Right.
Oh, that the Christmas parade attacks were BLM. I didn't know that.
Yes. Did you follow the Kyle Rittenhouse trial?
Which one is he? Oh, he's the guy that shot yeah, I did see some of that. I don't know. I'm really torn on that. Like, doesn't somebody at one point like grab the barrel of his gun?
Yeah. You have the trial. You don't even have to watch all of it. Just watch when Kyle's on the stand, and that's enough because you can see the prosecutor literally grasping at straws and lying. The judge admonished the prosecutor, like literally yelling at him.
Yeah, I remember seeing a clip about the judge
like
freaking out.
little games.
But yeah, that was the first rumor that went around right after this happened, was that it was in response to that verdict.
Yeah, Darrell Brooks not that smart.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with that at all.
Well, I think after the fact he picked up that was in the climate, and he was gonna use it to in his favor.
In so many ways, I think he kind of like united people together because just sitting there hearing that mother give the victim impact statement of how he ran over and killed her son, it's like it could have been anybody's child that happened to. Like, get mad, you black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever. Like, everybody felt that.
Yeah.
During your report or time spent with Miss Patterson, did she?
When he says, "Oh, you guys, I have shock devices on my ankle," and nobody reacts. That was funny.
Nobody gives a shit. They're like, can we push the button, please?
Yeah, please. Me
First
I
first.
think most of us wanted to see him shocked a few times, just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Then on November 20th of 2021.
Yes.
Do you recall what that was? What she said?
I recall what she said, yes.
To the best of your knowledge, do you believe that she was being truthful?
Yes.
You already asked that.
The jury that ultimately it's the jury's determination of credibility that matters. And you heard me read an instruction yesterday. That's obviously the instruction you'll follow ultimately in the jury room.
To the best of your knowledge, do you recall any injuries on the first reported incident?
Yes.
Do you recall what they were?
Yes.
I love how he's making him work for every word.
Any injury on the
Speaking is great.
incident from the day of the parade?
Yes.
Do you remember what they were?
Yes.
Can you state on
This
the
is
record
like
what they were?
this is like textbook what a perfect witness is. Like just really sharp, one word answers. He's giving this guy nothing. I mean, this is like a master class on how to be a good witness for the defense. It's just like, hey man, you want more information? You got to extract that out of me. I'm gonna yes or no.
Well, I think they're actually supposed to answer that way, aren't they? Aren't they told?
Yeah,
they're trained
That's
to.
what they're supposed to do. Like if they say stuff like, "Do you know what time it is?" Just say yes, but don't give the time to say yes.
Yeah.
And then it's, like stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like literally to the letter he's following that, and it's just perfect. It's clear he's done this before.
On which day?
The 20th.
He despises Brooksy. That's funny.
Her mouth was injured due to being slapped
I love it.
in the mouth.
Do you can you recall for any reason why that would not be in the report?
It is.
He must have skimmed over that line.
That's so funny.
To the best of your knowledge, can you say where in the report that would be? Because I don't see it in the.
Do you want him to do your homework?
Yeah. Hope he says no.
Let me get a highlighter out for you. I'll highlight the important part.
Are you asking me which report
No,
states
Zach.
that
No,
she was
no.
Yeah, don't do it, man. Please.
injured in the mouth? Are you asking if it was reported to me that she was injured in the mouth?
No, I'm not. I'm asking you, why is there no injuries reported for that incident, alleged incident?
It was reported to me that she was injured in the mouth by being slapped on the 20th.
Are you aware that that was not testified to?
No.
What grounds would that be hearsay?
Mr. Brooks, it's up for the jury to determine the truthfulness of anything that's said or testified to in court.
Okay.
He was not present for any other testimony, so it would not be proper for him to comment on that.
I was about to say objection beyond the scope of his knowledge.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say
Why was he able to talk about an
reported
incident previous to the attack?
I think because his idea is it lends towards her credibility. Like we were saying earlier, his main mission here is to just basically attack Erica.
Okay.
Would it be fair to say that the reported alleged incident from the 20th is very, very vague in your report? Would that be fair to say? And by vague, I mean there's literally 3 sentences.
I don't have the report in front of me. If you're
I have
referring to vagueness, that's why I went back on the 22nd to interview her again to clarify information.
So
typewriter.
On the 22nd, and this is your report I'm reading from. It says, due to the influx of information, we were unable to make sense of all the information. Would that be fair to say?
Correct.
So it would be also fair to say that that would basically state that there were some things you weren't sure about.
Yes.
You also say in your report that you had learned that there were 2 other individuals that may have been involved in the incident. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you remember the names of the 2 individuals?
Yes.
Yes.
Would you state on the record what the names of the other 2 individuals were?
Corey Runkle, and the other individual's first name is Nick. I don't remember his last name.
Oh, wow.
Did Corey Runkle in any way report anything about the incident to you?
Which incident? Hold on. Which incident are we talking about?
From November the 21st of 2021.
Thank you. With that clarification, are you able to answer?
Not to me directly.
Do you recall if you had learned of any information about what Corey Runkle might have said to any other law enforcement?
What? Hearsay?
Yeah,
Do you
hearsay.
recall what that was?
Yes.
Oh no, it's
Would you
not
like to
because it's
state on the record
firsthand.
that
What
was
did
that you may have learned?
what did he say to someone else? So no, that's not hearsay.
I learned that she was with Erica Patterson on the 21st, on November 21st, 2021, when Erica Patterson was involved with a domestic incident. She responded to help her friend.
Do you recall of learning if Corey Runkle was with Erica Patterson on November 20th of 2021?
I don't think Corey Runkle was with Erica Patterson on the 20th.
You can just feel the hate coming from this detective.
Yeah, man, he can't stand this guy.
You stated in the report that you were with Erica Patterson to kind of basically you took her on a drive to pretty much retrace her steps. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
At any time, did any incident about November the 20th of 2021 come into your conversations with Erica Patterson?
I'm talking about during the drive.
During the drive. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
No, I just want to make sure that the question's clear. Go ahead.
I believe we did talk about it, both incidents from the 20th and the 21st.
Do you recall what was said?
Yes.
Do you recall putting that into your report?
Do you recall talking
I
about
recorded our conversation. I don't know if I
Did you
put
talk
every
about me?
detail of our
What'd she
recording
say?
in the report. In fact, I know
Did you
I
say
didn't.
she still loves me? Did she say that she still finds me attractive?
So not every detail from our recorded conversation is in that report. The report is a summary.
Did she say she want to marry me?
For any reason, to your knowledge, why would details of an incident not be reported accurately?
Objection, that mischaracterizes the evidence.
It's also vague. Sustained.
To the best of your knowledge, why is that conversation that was supposedly had not in your report at all?
Objection, this states the evidence.
Sustained.
Just 1 second.
Again, like a more attacking his police work than really extracting any meaningful testimony.
Sorry, Your Honor, I got tons of paperwork.
One would think the amount of shuffling and moving around, you'd know where that paperwork is and be somewhat organized. But no, he just moves everything around in a blind chaos.
I also think this is to show Erica his power and what he can do to humiliate her for doing what she's done.
That's the only that's like the main reason why he wanted to defend himself, I think, is because he knows that he would have never had an opportunity to talk to her again.
Yeah. Or attack her credibility publicly.
Yep.
No lawyer with any sense of responsibility or conscience would go after her the way that he did, talking about how she's a bad mom and lying and everything. It's just so disgusting.
You interviewed.
Whereas he's such a good father with his daughter. He's very, very close.
Yeah, we have a very special relationship. We're very, very close.
Oh, yes, such a daddy's girl.
Meanwhile, she fucking hates him.
You interviewed Miss Patterson. Did the
I just need to get to my girls.
I got my kids in the back half of the week.
11. You need to clarify your question.
But since COVID, he's had them all the time.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he has them every day now in his car. He doesn't even have enough seats for the amount of kids he has.
My girls. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's ambiguous.
So he talks about her being a bad mother and not having custody. Well, he doesn't have custody either of any of them.
I know. So ironic.
He can't even be near a child with his record.
Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Now he on the registry. He can't be around children.
Well, obviously it doesn't apply to his kids, but yes, it's funny to think he's not supposed to be around them.
Oh wait, it doesn't apply to your old kids?
Not
No, of course
usually.
not.
It should. I think in some cases it should. It has to.
If the victim is one of your kids, yes, it would apply.
Correct.
But they give leeway when it's your children and they weren't the victim.
Well, I would hope any judge wouldn't let him get his kids on the back half of a week as a
I guess he could have taken to school.
Oh yeah, you can't take him to school. That's true.
Can't take him to school. Yeah.
They would normally make
can't take him to the park.
Visits with kids because of him being on the registry. Somebody would have to supervise the visits.
That makes sense.
Did what Miss Patterson said change from interview to interview?
No.
So at any time during your interview, did you learn less or learn more?
I learned more in my second interview.
Obviously.
So it would be fair to
Learn
say
less or learn more?
the information you learned changed.
Yeah.
Would that be fair to say?
I know when people speak to you, Darrell, they walk out of those interactions knowing less. But typically when people speak or observe with people, they walk out of that with more information than they came in.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
God damn.
Like, what the fuck has happened?
It did not change. I just learned
It's
more
bizarro
information.
Yeah. Who is you?
More information about what was incident. The 20th, the 21st.
Both, honestly.
I'm sorry.
Both, honestly.
So, would it be fair to say was it 2 interviews that you did or 3?
2.
So both interviews, you continue to learn things that you didn't know from the previous interview.
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that
Did that comment? It's cracking me up.
Would it be fair to say that you're grasping at straws right now?
Yeah. God, the paperwork.
None of this is helping him at all.
Yeah, completely irrelevant testimony.
It made a view of him when he's
He just wait. Did he just call him Detective Goose?
Probably. I mean,
the mispronunciation has gotten to such absurd levels. Detective Goose.
First, like goose.
did Erica Patterson give any report to any other law enforcement that you were aware of?
No.
He's obsessed with her.
Yeah, this is sad.
So
Absolutely.
All about her. Not about his charges, not about, trying to make points, that are relevant to his case. It's all about her.
Yeah.
By the way, he never said he was sorry.
Defend
he
yourself.
said, I'm sorry for what happened.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, I'm sorry for Turkey and Syria for the earthquake. I'm not guilty. See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't mean he's sorry for what it is.
I think it was a very real sorry kind of thing. Like, sorry it happened. Yeah, it was brutal.
They say any apology that's followed up with "but" is basically an unapology. Like, I'm sorry, but you're an asshole. It's like, okay, well, that really doesn't mean much.
Way.
Yes, that's exactly what they're saying.
That's something to you.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, they're just like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
This is inbred into him because mommy and grandma have always made excuses for him for his behavior, blaming mental illness, blaming that, blaming this, so nothing's ever Darrell's fault.
Yeah.
True. Which is sad.
Well, the ironic thing is the mother kept saying, oh, we have to help these people. Well, start with your son. You never helped him.
Line with mental illness is up. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. It was just an excuse, nothing more.
She almost like shamed the system for not taking care of her son for her. Like, she goes on this whole diatribe about how we need to help people and not ignore them and send them back into the streets to learn for themselves. It's like, how about fucking start at home, take care of your own, you fucking loser.
Help them early so that they don't lagger and fall through the cracks.
Well, she said when he turned 18, they said that he was fine, that he didn't need medication.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Well, she contradicts herself because then she goes on the whole rant about how he's bipolar and he's having a manic breakdown. So which is it? Did he get cured magically at 18 or is he still manic and bipolar?
It's whatever it needs to be to make her feel less culpable.
Yeah.
The reports Judge Darrell talked about in her in right before the sentencing. Bipolar was never mentioned in any of them.
And the only time he ever got mental health treatment was while he was locked up. He never got any when he was out in the world.
So by force, basically?
No, it was probably a way to try to get high.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he thought that
She
want to send him
had 18 years to get him help, and she did not do it. Period.
Well, he had 40. She still lived with her in her driveway, but still.
Neither did he. He could have asked for help, you know?
I mean, he tried to get on SSI. He tried to get on Social Security for being, for having mental health issues. And they send you to shrinks and all that kind of stuff. And they said, no, there's nothing wrong with you that would prevent you from being an active member of society. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
So he applied for mental health benefits like disability, and they turned him down.
Yeah. Doro says it in her closing. Yeah.
Wow. So he wants the handouts and what I mean, the room for culpability for his mental illness, but will take no accountability or responsibility to proactively fight that.
Correct.
So sad.
He'll work the system to his benefit.
Yeah, but do
when
nothing
it
to help himself.
Correct. He'll try to get all what he can from he works the government.
Look at that face that it paused on.
I think they convinced him in the end, you need to go in there and start telling them that you want to go to a mental institution. And that mother was probably telling him, Darrell, you'll go there, you'll get the help you need, they'll medicate you, you'll probably stay for a couple of years, and you'll be back home.
Yeah.
That
does happen.
Medicated.
There is no medicine to help Darrell. There really isn't. It's a personality disorder.
There's no anti-asshole pill.
I was about to say there's no pill for being an asshole.
What do they do with narcissistic people? Do they treat them? Can you be cured from that?
No.
It's not an actual diagnosis.
Oh wow.
I mean, narcissistic personality disorder. Well, let me rephrase. Narcissistic personality disorder is not something you can treat with medication. It's if you go to see a psychiatrist, they can help you cope with those behaviors, but it's not like they can't give you Adderall or something for being a narcissist.
They send you to therapy, to do group therapy, to learn empathy and everything else, but it just teaches them to mask it better and, mock, take what they learned and put on that face that's what you're doing when they don't really feel it.
Yeah, there have been studies done that psychopaths and sociopaths, people that are of that cloth, will actually learn to manipulate better from therapy. Like they actually won't benefit from it. They'll actually get more learned behaviors to further deepen their psychosis.
Yeah, that's right.
Crazy.
So basically, it's no cure for him. It's like it's who he is.
No, there's no cure for it.
He's just an
They
asshole.
just send them to try to get them to
it's just gonna be.
learn empathy, and it very rarely works. They just show them what they should feel, so they take that and put on the mask that they do and are better at it. That's it. There's nothing you can do.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of therapists out there that need to work very intimately with these people. Exactly what you're saying, to try and teach empathy, and it very rarely works.
I don't think that empathy is something you can teach.
No, you can't.
Do you guys think he
force somebody
survives?
to feel for somebody?
Jay, what are you trying to say?
I'm sorry. I was going to say, do you guys think he survives in prison, or somebody fucking beats the shit out of him and he's crippled?
Oh, someone's gonna beat the shit out of him.
They're going to put him in protective custody so they can't get to him.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
My first wish is suffer as long as possible.
I agree.
I don't want him to die very fast.
They say isolation is like the ultimate form of torture, and he's going to have to be sequestered. Given where he's locked up, the chances of somebody in prison being associated with the accident, like I can almost guarantee they're going to keep him in protective custody for the rest of his life.
Yeah, but even if somebody doesn't get him because they have some kind of connection to the case, or some they know somebody who got injured or whatever, I can't see him surviving just by his mouth.
Yeah, because he's so much of an asshole. Yeah, that's true too.
But then again, remember, he only does that to women, so he really doesn't have a lot of conversation for guys. So he's a pussy. So I don't think that he'll get into too many confrontations with other inmates because he won't really bark at a guy. I don't think. Most abusers don't.
You're right. You're right. See,
that could be.
Well said.
With Carpenter, he was a pussy. With Carpenter and Stern, he was just shutting up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only women he goes after hard.
Like, oh, I apologize.
Look how he treated Judge Darrell. He went after her just because she's a woman. He wouldn't have done that with a man.
No.
You're right.
Same objection.
I just think that Judge Darrell gave him a little bit too much leeway sometimes. And I get that she had to be whatever, but I don't know. She kind of lent herself to a lot of this shit that she didn't have to deal with when it came to him. So she clearly knew his MO. She knew this backstory on about how abusive she was. I don't think that she always had to go beyond to make him feel comfortable like she did most of the time.
Yeah.
When we initially watched this, we were watching with an actual lawyer. What he said was she was letting him do it so he didn't have an appeal. The same with what everybody perceived at the end of the day of her complimenting his behavior. No, that was going on the record to show he could do this stuff. Not that he didn't know how, he could do it. He just didn't want to do it. So this, takes away part of what he could appeal on it.
That cop in the background is cracking me up.
The cop in the background?
Yeah, in the back, like behind Darrell.
Yeah.
He looks like, because I don't know if you've ever watched like 80s, 90s wrestling, but he looks like Arn Anderson to me. That's like all I see him.
He's constantly got a little smirk watching Darrell's antics.
He does look like Arn Anderson.
He's got a Budweiser in his back pocket. He's just like waiting to drink that Budweiser as soon as he gets out of the court. The enforcer.
At any time, did you learn anything about the alleged incidents that Ms. Patterson claimed from any other law enforcement?
Objection. Same reason.
Sustained.
At any time were you, or at any time did you view the video footage from White Rock School?
Yes.
Do you remember what you saw in those videos?
Yes.
You stayed on the record what you saw?
Under 906.11, I'm going to advise the witness not to answer. That video is in evidence. It will speak for itself. And his understanding of what's in there, at least at this point, is not relevant.
Can you say what was the date of the video?
Oh my god. Are you fucking kidding me?
November 21st, 2021.
That video is so damning. Why would he bring it up?
Other alleged incident from.
Because he's a jerk.
What is the goal here? I really think that he is just lost in the woods. That's what I was trying to get at earlier. It's like to say he did no preparation is an overstatement of what's going on. There's no purpose to these questions. Like, did you see the video? To what end? Like, what are you trying to extract from him?
Because he has no concrete, real defense he's focusing on. He's just lost in the minutia of everything. And he thinks that if he knocks this down, the whole house of cards is going to come down. Well, it's not, because you don't want him to tell what he saw on that video. That's just nothing but hurting your case.
See the relevance to anything that happened on the 20th.
Sustained.
My ex deals with somebody right now that's narcissistic and like is mentally abusive.
Do you know if there might have been
sometimes, unfortunately, physical abusive? And she said that no matter what the situation is that they're arguing about or disagreeing about, like, he's never wrong. Like, he'll continue asking her the stupidest fucking questions. It's never ending. It's a circular argument that goes on forever and ever and ever. And this is similar to that. Like, this is like, there is no method to his madness. He's just asking the dumbest fucking questions because in his mind, listen, those people should have got out of my way fast enough. Like, and if Erica would have bailed me out of jail, I wouldn't have never been out there. Then she wouldn't have got me mad, and then I wouldn't have ran into those people who didn't get the fuck out of my way fast enough. That's how he sees it. Like, so he doesn't have these people on the stand that he's talking to. These are all people who don't understand that if she would have not made him mad and bailed him out of jail, and those people would have got out of his way fast enough, then we wouldn't even be here right now. So this is an inconvenience. Me sitting here, gotta fucking question you guys about this. Like,
He's almost like giving.
More of it, never Darrell's fault. It's all blamed on something else.
It's like he's giving himself the room to come up with something to latch his claws into.
They're just delaying.
Yeah,
just dragging things on.
He has no empathy for anyone else's time. What the fuck does he care if he keeps everybody here all day for all that matters? I mean, most of the time, Darrell has to shut down his questioning because he physically won't stop himself.
Yeah, they want something from him. He's like, that might work. Maybe I'll do afternoons. It depends on what's going on. Like he acts like he's too busy when they're like, when do you want to do your witnesses? He's like, oh, I don't know. Day plays out.
Yeah, even though there's literally no plan. Yeah. So funny. He acts like he's got so much going on and he's so busy working on his defense. When in reality, when he leaves there, he just goes to bed. It's so silly. Like, what are you doing?
He goes on YouTube and other places and looks at the mean comments left instead of going through the law library that will actually help him. Because
I was wondering that. How is he viewing those comments? Because they can't let him. There's no way they're letting him get on the internet, right?
You would be surprised.
They have to.
Yeah.
There's most everything that you see lawyer shows and all the books. Well, Westlaw that put out those books is now online. You have to get online to access this. And he must have found a way to bypass that to get into the YouTube comments and all that. Because he talked about at one point the mean comments and all that stuff left, which is insane.
That's fucking awesome that he saw that.
So I'm convinced that either Darrell Brooks himself or some of his followers are the reason why, like, a bunch of my TikToks got banned because I have so many videos of him. I have like 50 videos, and some of them weren't even like offensive. It was like stupid little sayings, and I kept getting kicked for like abusive behavior or something. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, that's what you're worried about?
I noticed that YouTube is really cracking down on Darrell Brooks content that is non-transformative in nature. People that just like cut up Darrell Brooks clips and post them onto YouTube. Like, actually, this family does everything just got demonetized because according to the post you put up, that it's not, like I said, it's not transformative. She's not like off. She put up a second channel. I think she's planning on adjusting it, but the little text boxes that she put up weren't transformatory enough to be monetized.
You have to talk so much and get so much commentary content in there for YouTube to not see it as, you're just letting it run. You have to
copyright.
You have to really go in and talk and not put text boxes.
I can only use like 30 seconds of a clip. Like sometimes in my videos, I'll add like a section from a movie or a song. If I go over 30 seconds, it'll just get taken down immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, when he's doing his shuffling papers, like it's time to cue the Law and Order theme music.
Yeah.
Any video from the alleged incident on November 20th?
Sustained.
Grounds.
It's not relevant.
May I ask how is it not
Next
relevant?
question. There's not a charge related to the 20th, sir. It's not relevant. I've given you
She should have kept that same energy.
this point under 90611.
Yeah, the whole time.
The whole trial would have been disaster.
I've never had NT interaction with the plaintiff.
NT.
Never seen the plaintiff.
Sustained.
Never spoken to the plaintiff.
Oh, we're back to this.
Just so I'm clear, you
Here
have
we go.
never had NT interaction with the plaintiff.
Sustained.
You've never seen the plaintiff.
Sustained.
Never spoken to the plaintiff.
Objection.
Sustained.
Never seen. Do you see the plaintiff in court today?
Objection.
Sustained.
It's like a carousel. Round and round and round we go.
Sustained.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what the fuck?
Smiling good.
Yeah.
As you get
that's
to Darrell,
wow.
will rule with him whenever she like overrules like their objections to him. She always like pauses, so you can tell when she's gonna rule in his favor.
Have you had any prior knowledge of the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Sustained.
I wonder what he would have said if they would have said yes. Like, where was he
To be fair to
going?
say that
Where was he going with that? Like, yeah, I talked to the plaintiff and what?
His head would have exploded. Really? What'd they say?
I'm a priest, and I did talk to the plaintiff. They were a friendly ghost.
We're best buds. We fucking play poker every Friday night.
you do
Jesus.
not know of any plaintiff in this matter.
Objection.
Sustained.
On grounds. What grounds?
Under 90611.
Like, does anyone have something against me in this courtroom? No.
I hate when he says that.
Oh, it's so gross. That's direct. I mean, he's directing that towards the family.
Yes.
Clearly.
Detective, when you reported that Erica Patterson had been less than completely forthright with you, what did she leave out the first time you spoke with her?
She left out the incident that happened to her on November 21st, 2021.
The incident where she accused Mr. Brooks of punching her?
Correct.
Okay. You testified on cross-examination that in your general experience, victims of domestic violence do not report 100% of the details all the time.
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
What? On what he said? Hearsay on his own comments.
He hasn't asked a question yet.
Grounds for that.
He can ask this
He
question.
said it.
This witness
Yeah.
testified about his experience.
He
with
heard
the
it.
Question you asked.
Well, his grounds for objections are just a dice roll. It's
Yeah.
either hearsay or relevancy.
It's like an automated generator. Whichever one just happened to pop up.
They're just random.
It's like a slot machine.
The redirect is appropriate.
I just say that every situation is different.
And the only one that was an hearsay, he didn't say it.
You
That
can tell
one
when he feels
time.
fast when he just like grounds.
Which we
You're
do know
attempting to
that.
testify, so no, you may not say that. The jury will strike that comment made by Mr. Brooks. You'll have an opportunity if you so choose.
Wait, what did he
to
say?
testify at a later point in time in this trial. The state may ask its question.
Thank you. Did Erica Patterson provide to you a specific reason for her situation, why she was not 100% forthright with you?
Yes.
What was that reason?
She was extremely afraid of Mr. Brooks.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Detective, you may step down. Any reason to keep this witness under subpoena from the state?
Not from the state.
Anything from Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
All right, I'll take
Oh
this.
my god. Oh, fucking asshole. Like, of course he'd say that, right?
Yeah.
What could you
Anything to
possibly...
argue.
I guarantee you he'd get up there and he'd be like, "Do you know the plaintiff?"
Later and reserve that until I can review that with the parties. All right, this would be an excellent opportunity to take a mid-morning break. It's 10:49, about 15 minutes. All rise for the jury. We are in recess.
Oh, God.
What's he chuckling about?
Yeah, why is he so happy?
Oh,
he's laughing.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He cannot believe that he's not allowed to offer another round of questions to fucking detective to ask him about the plaintiff.
Yeah.
And he's not even
hide stuff or screw me over so the jury can see him with these facial expressions and try to, make them think that he's getting screwed over or they're being lied to. It's just part of his.
He's making inferences towards corruption is what that is.
Manipulation.
Oh.
Which is unbelievably transparent considering how useless all of his questions were to begin with.
Yeah. Not standing again, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. But looking at the clock all the time.
That's good dinner for him today.
You say no spaghetti dinner?
No, not for him today.
Yeah, he loves his spaghetti. The prison's
No
spaghetti's
shower.
fire right here.
Yeah.
Imagine how bad he must have stunk, dude. Think about that. He gets two showers a week? Ugh.
Is that true?
Most days he's wearing the same suit he was wearing the day before. He must have been ripe.
Are you sure about that?
So if that's even true about 2 showers a week, I don't think that's even true. He probably does get shower every day.
Back out, so we are on the record. Mr. Brooks, I was provided with information that your test result was hand delivered to you.
I mean, that's that's like a health
concern.
God, I wish I could see the table, dude.
That's a good point, though, Nawson, that if they're only getting 2 showers a week, no wonder people are getting sick everywhere in prison because they're fucking gross.
Yeah.
It's that part where I wish they would show them jacking him up.
What?
This is the part right here where he refuses to give the results, and they cut to black when they have to rough him up. I was praying that they would have released that footage, but I don't know why they didn't, but they didn't.
I was made aware of my. I didn't look at it yet. So.
Do you have it with you?
It is.
Looks right at it.
Somewhere.
Yeah, looks right at it.
Locate it.
Yeah, he was so scared. They didn't look at him.
I like how he puts a bunch of papers on top of it to try and cover it up.
Himself, and I'd like to know.
It's in my bundle of work.
It's mine.
Kind of in the middle of preparing for my defense, so
yeah,
Find
bullshit.
a piece of paper and open it up and read it, please.
Right here. His eyes, he's I don't know, him saying that kind of, it's almost playful, he's
smirking.
I don't consent to being spoken to in that fashion.
If he actually had a real lawyer here, they would have been able to argue giving him to the court and having it read aloud was a HIPAA violation. He doesn't even know what HIPAA is. HIPAA is, he probably thinks it's a hippo. But they could have argued that they may well have won.
Yeah, and an artful attorney, I think, probably could make that legal argument. But, I mean, she's pretty stern in this whole, we need to bring the COVID thing to finality. So it probably is a losing argument for Evenus Foundation.
Yeah,
but
he started
good point, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
First he says, I got to protect rights and all that. But then she goes on and read it out loud. I don't know. I don't think that she should have did that. I think that might be something they could bring up on appeal because she basically announced his private medical information to the world.
Yeah.
She
even admits herself that she's going to keep the record sealed and then goes on to say, but it was negative.
I know.
I'm sure
There's
she
nothing.
did her homework on it. Like, I'm assuming that the COVID thing kind of like overrides the doctor-patient confidentiality thing in certain circumstances.
Yeah, I guess so. You got to know anyway.
Yeah.
Because
plus
it's a
one.
protocol.
Even if that's brought up on appeal, it has no relevance to the case itself.
Exactly. You're right. I was about to say that. Like, one thing they can acknowledge like something was violated in a court case, but I've also seen them say, well, that didn't throw out the whole case. Like, we'll address that one thing, but you're still going to do 30 years in prison. You know what I mean? So
I would argue that if she didn't read the results, that he'd have better grounds for appeal, because an artful attorney could argue that he did have COVID and should have gotten his adjournment, and his rights to safety and medical treatment were violated because she made him proceed with COVID.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
This lady's
also
brilliant.
all of this was done outside of the jury. They didn't even see this, so it's kind of, what relevance would it be? You know.
True. They're not there.
Right.
Please
And the
find a
baby
piece of
doesn't
paper.
wear a mask. So
Open it up and please read it.
they don't care.
To that, Your Honor. Or do I agree to that, Your Honor? I do not.
Mr. Brooks, then I'm going to advise the Sheriff's Department to find the piece of paper and hand it to me so that I can read it. So that those are your two options.
What would be the basis for that, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, this is an issue that you raised, and I need to bring it to finality and know what the test result is.
Okay, with all due respect, it was a motion that I raised.
All right, I'm going to clear the courtroom. We're going to go off
We
the
are so
record.
I love that she does that. Just interrupts him. She's like, "All right, we're gonna take it by force then. Thanks for playing."
She knows he's just gonna droll on about nothing.
Yeah.
He's gotten used to it by now.
That this is just a stall tactic. Nothing more than that. He wants to be out for a while to derail things so he can do a little more work on this, that, and the other, and talk to his sub-sig guru and all this stuff. It's nothing more than a delay tactic.
He's got like a consigliere in jail, like a. He's got like a sub-sit right-hand man he's conferring with every night. Oh my god! I want to meet this man so bad. Can you imagine what those conversations would look like? Oh.
When it comes to the sub-sit, when they go on to this level, it's because it's the last card they have to play. There's no defense for what he really did. Even a real attorney would have a problem finding a defense for him. There's nothing. They saw him. They know who it is. They found the car. They found his fingerprints. You know, this, that, the other. This is the last straw for somebody. And a lot of substitutes come about it as their last straw.
Yeah. You know, one thing I noticed about these sub-sits is they're always presenting their information amongst this, like, chaos. Like, all of them are always, like, doing these long diatribes of interrupting everybody and talk. Like, it is consistent with every sovereign citizen I've seen in every court appearance. They, like, won't hold the camera in their face. They're constantly, like, interrupting people and talking over. It's very indicative of somebody who knows they have a bad argument. It's like, almost like what Lao Tzu says, like, he who knows does not speak, he who speaks does not know. Everyone else in the courtroom has a very well-founded legal argument, so they don't need to resort to these, like, dramatic inferences of, like I said, interrupting and being loud and disrupting things, because they know once they get a chance to speak, they can actually refute whatever's being said.
Well,
so these sovereigns...
Sovsits are open about that. If you look at their websites and stuff, that's part of their tactic, is to create confusion and.
Yeah.
Yeah. They think they're the smartest people in the room, and if they can just get their argument across, it's going to make sense to everybody. When sensible people just go, "Yeah, you're a fool."
No, I was about to say it's actually the opposite. It's like they know if anybody dives into what they're actually presenting as an argument, it would be refuted immediately. So they have to immediately constantly throw out, like almost just to see if anything could stick and disrupt the process of actually refuting these unfounded arguments. They're just like, it's a nonstop barrage of just tossing constant everything. Like, even with the paperwork, they'll file like hundreds of these documents just to like confuse the record, to make it so difficult to actually get down to the basis of what the argument is.
It's actually considered paper terrorism.
Yeah.
Soviets do it, and so do the Moors. They will file everything under the sun just to throw everybody off.
Yep.
The Moors?
Yeah, they're like a sub-faction of Sovcit. They're basically sovereign citizens, but they don't want to prescribe to the Sovcit label.
Oh, okay.
They swear that the United States is Morocco. They were the first inhabitants. It's their land. You would have to go read some of this. It's way out there.
Yeah, it's a whole rabbit hole.
When that's done.
Can we cut ahead to Darrell's cry face?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Dude, I believe this is the only part where he actually, like, these are legit tears. When the judge says what a big boy he was.
So yeah, let's talk about that, right? Because there are so many. Nawson, can you pause? Yeah, there are so many different schools of thought as to why he's crying. A lot of people feel like it's because he has been, like, it's finally washing over him that he's realizing he's out of control. Nawson and I have talked about, we actually think it's the opposite, where she's actually goes on, we'll see it in a second, but she goes on to kind of praise his arguments and like almost affirm his beliefs that he's doing a good job legally, and he's like almost proud of himself in that moment. If you see, he's like yes, he's pissed when he's sitting there, but he doesn't start crying until she starts making the positive comments. So yeah. I really do think part of it's like, I did do it. Like, he is very emotional in this moment because he's been removed from the courtroom. Like, he's probably got a lot of emotions that he doesn't understand how to process. But I do think because he isn't in such this vulnerable state that once she makes these statements about him being a good attorney, he fucking breaks the fuck down. See, Mom, I did do it. I did. What do you guys think?
He's crying for Darrell. Nobody else. He's just crying for himself because it didn't work.
I think that's a real emotion, him crying. I think that he has been living in a reality world, and he thought like, oh, okay, I can control this the way I control everything else in my life by manipulating, by stalling, by talking in circles. I think those tears of him sitting there is really like a realization, like, oh shit, like my life is really fucking over. Like somebody now can like force me to give up something that I don't want to do. Like,
yeah, like I said, that seems to be the common thought process, is that it's washing over him that he's truly out of control. Yeah. And for a narcissist, that's the ultimate nightmare.
Yep.
But I think you're right too. You're right too, because see, when she starts praising him, his throat starts to move. You know, like
it's clearly in direct reaction to what she's saying.
Yeah, I agree.
We're about to watch it, and you can see.
But I needed to make a record of what was being done, including that I have obtained the test result, so there's an accurate record in this case related to the motion that was raised previously by Mr. Brooks. I want Mr. Brooks to know that I am not removing him from when the jurors are brought back in. It was just simply because he was upset. He was very loud when I walked into the courtroom before going on.
Yeah, he looks
back
pissed.
on the record. He was
but he's not crying,
yelling about his constitutional rights being violated.
That's why I say you're right.
That if there was any type of use of force that he wanted to complain about, he could certainly do that through the proper channels with the sheriff's department. But just given his state of agitation and my need to make a record, I had him taken to the other courtroom. He is currently muted. I do not intend to go forward with additional testimony. Ultimately, I'm going to take an early lunch break because of this, but I will make a record of the following. I have the result. I am going to scan it, have my clerk scan it. It will be filed as confidential, though. It won't be available to the public, but it's there for appellate purposes, but I can confirm that the test result for COVID-19 was negative. And again, I required
So
the
she
sheriff's
didn't
department.
say what was written on it.
Well, I mean, she said the important part, right? Like, she read the headline.
Yeah. Yeah, but she didn't say what was written on it. So there's no EPO things.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. She gave the information that the test report says, so.
Right.
Yeah, that's enough to violate HIPAA right there. Is anything coming from a medical professional that's confidential, and this would be considered confidential, like a diagnosis, violates HIPAA.
There were exceptions for COVID, though. The company I work for had to go through this whole thing with test results and vaccinations, actually, because a lot of people were fighting the fight that it's none of your business whether or not I'm vaccinated. And like, well, actually, we're a business and you work for us, and whether or not you are able to work for us safely is in fact our business. And there were exceptions made. The exact extent to which, you know, in whatever state or county, I have no idea during this time.
Yeah.
Right, but HIPAA is this, but it's like when she read off all of the medical people's, like at the end, like during her final statement, you know, saying what all the doctors said about him. I mean, I guess that kind of the same thing, you know.
Yeah, some people would argue the mental health stuff is more sensitive than the COVID test, but you know, again, if it's applicable to the case, there have to be. I would assume. I mean, the whole purpose of those psychiatric examinations were to find out whether he's competent or not. So one would assume naturally going into that, there's an assumption that these results are not going to be private.
Well, they were brought in by both the defense and the state, so they knew confidentiality didn't attach.
That's not true. She says at one point if the defense had done their own psychiatric reports that they weren't submitted to him. She doesn't know that. So the court, or I think, ordered a few, but the prosecution ordered a few. If the state did, they were not turned over to the court.
Yeah, so either way, there was no confidentiality attached because it was part of the case.
Yeah,
that's a big difference than going to your own psychiatrist and them coming on the stand to testify without written permission.
Right. So using that same logic, one would assume because this COVID test was in relation to the court case, by that same logic, the results would then be public.
Yeah, but it's a bit different than the reports. Either way, it's a very muddy area. But I'm just saying that if somebody wanted to fight it, they could have, but it doesn't really affect the case itself.
And to provide that result to me, and it will remain under seal. I realize I'm disclosing that result, but I feel obligated to do that given the motion that was raised 2 days ago by Mr. Brooks. Again, I intend to take an early lunch, so that will hopefully give Mr. Brooks an opportunity.
Dude, that is psycho stare.
To review the result himself. Yeah. It was put in front of him. I did see that he either shoved it or tossed it or just dismissed it. It looked like it went on the floor when it was put in front of him, but we'll certainly have the deputies give that to him again. During the recess for lunch, Mr. Brooks will also be given the opportunity to change into street clothes if he so chooses. But when we come back, he will be in this courtroom. I agree. Mr. Brooks was making a couple of statements about how he was abiding by the rules and being respectful, things of that nature. I agree. He's done an excellent job while in court here this morning. He's been respectful of the rules. He made some
He's
early
been
on.
a good
I let
boy.
him, make his objections or lack of consent. He did that respectfully. When I said I was moving on, he generally was able to do that. We were able to get through 2 witnesses. He was able to follow along, ask cogent, clear, responsive, and articulate objections. He was able to elicit information.
Yeah, now we're getting the reaction.
Witnesses, regarding either their...
At the same time.
What was the point of saying all that?
Yeah, like what was the point?
I don't know.
Yeah, like saying he made articulate, cogent. What?
I think she's putting onto the record that he's competent and is able to defend himself.
That it wasn't just the complete shit show it sounded like at times. She's doing it so on appeal they can show the record saying all this. That yes, he could do this. Yes, he was competent to do this. Yes, he knew what he was doing. Yes, he could behave when he wanted to.
Yeah.
All of that. It stops a lot of the appeals process in its tracks.
Behave when he wants to. It can behave.
How can somebody claim they don't understand the nature and cause of the charges if they're able to effectively cross-examine a witness about effective testimony?
That's probably why she's saying that, just deep down, but she's making it seem like she's praising him. Because I'm totally behind that theory about him getting the praise and then crying, because I'm just picturing back when I was a kid, when I got in trouble by my parents, and I would get in big trouble for something, but then they would say they have confidence that I could do better in school, this and that, and then it would make me emotional and cry. So this is totally that.
His doing with the understanding bit has two things to it. First of all, Sob Sid's the word understand, and that started very early on. Within the first day, he would say something besides I understand, because Sob Sid's used that to turn it on and says, I don't stand under anything. But the second one was he's trying to help an appeal. Because if he doesn't understand, he's not competent to stand trial or competent to do this.
Wait, is that actually a Sob Sid tactic, that they don't stand under things?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
I heard it before. That's true.
There's a few other words like that.
So,
it is.
Under an apple
tree. Is there a picture of Darrell with a bunch of tables on top of him and he's standing? Be like, now you understand?
I don't stand under an apple tree, therefore it is not. It does not exist.
There's a few words like that from Sob Sid's that they twist it to make it sound something different.
The semantic argument. It's so pathetic.
Yeah, I'm surprised when they said you're opening the door to this. He was like, did you see me open a door, in a physical sense?
Yeah, really. You could see him saying that. Your Honor, did I physically open a door?
I'll see no doors.
God damn.
And other things. Generally speaking, he's been able to competently represent himself and provide again, solid cross-examination this morning. So I'm going to give him an
That's the most authentic
to
crying I've seen from him the whole time.
And to come back here.
Look at his eyes, how they're
his shoulders.
Body language experts say, pause it one more time, Nawson. Body language artists and people who examine this stuff say that is the most difficult area to fake expression, is when your eyebrows do that thing that we're seeing right now where they bend in like that. That is a very, very difficult thing to fake. Those muscles are very involuntary. He is straight breaking down right now.
So with that, we are in recess. Probably come back at 1 o'clock. Since it's only 11:30, and we'll take the full 90 minutes.
Look, he's got that crying thing where you you get those gasping air breaths of when you're heave crying. You're just seeing that.
Yeah, like young kids when they bawl their eyes out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. He was literally just doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when he's talking about his 7-year-old daughter, like the we have a very special relationship. I think that was pretty authentic too, as psychotic as that is, even because it's so backwards.
We're very, very
appearances
close.
are as they were.
Yeah.
Previously, Mr. Brooks is in the courtroom. He is in jail attire, as that is his choice.
Oh shit! Does he have his mask off?
Yeah.
Yeah, watch here in a minute. He'll put it back on, then he'll grab a Kleenex, and he'll look up at the judge to see if he's looking at him.
We continue with testimony.
Watch. Yeah, it's funny.
No,
Just
thank you.
check. All right, Mr. Brooks, anything you want to address at this point?
I'm sulking.
It's hard for me to see his
He's so full of
head.
shit.
He's bent over, but I thought I saw him shaking his head. No, but I'll ask one more time. Mr. Brooks, anything you want me to address before the jurors are brought out to continue with testimony from witnesses?
He's had an hour to calm down, too. This is fake.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And then whenever she pans out of him, he'll do the, like, looking at her.
Jury out. We'll continue. I presume the state has a witness available. We do. All right. Thank you.
I like how they're being all smiley and bubbly in the face of this.
3, 2. See.
Oh,
He
yeah.
looked up at her to see if she was looking at him.
Master manipulator.
Yep.
And no standing for the jury again.
Yeah, again, the not standing thing.
He's too emotional. You mean guys.
You're so mean to me.
Why don't you hold off on that, and at the next appropriate time when they're not on their way in, I can address whatever it is. Or if you want to pass me a note, you can do that as well.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I'm going to leave everybody's info in the description that was in this video, so check them out. I'm also going to be setting up a live stream very similar to this Case Watch format for all of my Patreon members fairly shortly. It just, that won't get uploaded to YouTube. It'll just be for us. It'll be fun, though. It'll be like a hangout and watch, either Darrell Brooks or, maybe something else, depending on what we all vote on. But probably start doing that, like, once a month or so, depending on how many people join. So if you think that's something you'd be interested in, consider joining the Patreon. It's only $1. You'll get an in-video shout-out like this from my newest members, Wall Potato, Lone Wanderer, and Valerie Day. Thank you guys for becoming Patreons. If you guys want to be part of this new video series where we just kick back and, watch a video or whatever, join over at Patreon there too. You'll get an in-video shout-out and you can talk to me as much as you want. Also working on some squirrel merch. I know you guys had said that you wanted that. I don't know if you guys know us or not, but I do all the art for the channel personally. So, all the squirrels and the thumbnails and the fun little clips and pictures I put in the videos, that's all done by hand, with software too, to be fair. But, just give me some time. I'm working as fast as I can. I try to make everything as high quality as I can for the channel. We did another Case Watch recording with a different group. This was part 2 of 2 weeks ago, actually. And so I will have the next Case Watch series from just a few days ago up in the next couple of days. Now that I don't need to do the icons, I can just pump these out relatively quick. I should have a lot of them up pretty soon now. So keep an eye out for that. Like this video. Do me a favor, too. If you're subbed and you don't have my bell, or if you don't know if you have my bell on, just go and check that. Or click it over and make sure that you have the notifications on. That way when I do upload, it hits your phone and you guys know to watch. Alright, all the YouTube stuff is done. I will see you guys in the next video. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you want to be on Case Watch, join the Discord. I know the invites keep lapsing, but I'll put a fresh one in this description. And if you want to be in the next Case Watch, just hop in the Discord, say what up, and we'll get you on there, okay? Alright, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. I love you. All right. Bye.